Many of these strokes are completely preventable, and it all starts with what's quietly sitting on your breakfast table. Studies have shown that specific wrong breakfast habits can actually triple your risk of stroke, leaving you vulnerable to brain damage, speech difficulties, and permanent disability. In this video, we will reveal to you 7 everyday breakfast foods that skyrocket your risk of stroke. I guarantee it's sitting in almost every single fridge across America, even yours. But the most dangerous food of all, that's the one nobody talks about, and when you hear it, you'll be shocked it's even allowed to be sold as a healthy option. Before we begin, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Now, without any further ado, let's get started. You probably think you're doing something good for yourself when you grab a fruity yogurt for breakfast. But for seniors, that creamy little cup could be a sugar bomb in disguise. Most flavored yogurts, even those labeled low-fat or healthy, are loaded with added sugars. In fact, one small container can have as much sugar as a candy bar. Consuming that much sugar first thing in the morning sets off a dangerous cascade in your body. Your blood sugar levels shoot up, triggering inflammation in your blood vessels. Over time, that inflammation wears down the delicate inner walls of your arteries, making them brittle and easy to clog. A massive 2020 meta-analysis in Nutrihubbliss found that high sugar consumption is tightly linked to increased stroke risk, especially among older adults. But the danger doesn't stop there. Some flavored yogurts are also full of artificial sweeteners, which, despite being calorie-free, have been shown in studies to disrupt gut bacteria and increase insulin resistance, which is another huge risk factor for strokes. Instead of thinking you're giving your body a healthy start, you might actually be opening the door to vascular damage with every spoonful. Granola is often seen as a healthy breakfast choice, something you'd expect to find in Health Nut's pantry. But the sad truth is that most store-bought granolas and granola bars are packed with hidden sugars and unhealthy oils. Some brands have as much sugar per serving as a candy bar, and that high sugar content wreaks havoc on your body's internal systems. As we learned earlier, a blood sugar spike leads directly to inflammation, which roughens up the inner lining of your blood vessels, making it easier for cholesterol and clots to stick. Plus, many granolas are cooked with vegetable oils that contain high levels of omega-6 fatty acids. While omega-6 is essential in small amounts, too much can tip your body's balance toward inflammation. Inflammation, again, is a major contributor to stroke risk. Research from the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition shows that high omega-6 to omega-3 ratios are strongly associated with cardiovascular disease, including strokes. Seniors often believe they're making a smart choice by grabbing a handful of granola, but if it's loaded with sugar and inflammatory oils, it's doing more harm than good. This might come as a shock because so many cereals are marketed with words like heart healthy, whole grain, or fortified with vitamins. But don't let the flashy boxes fool you. Most cereals, even the ones posing as healthy, are ultra-processed foods filled with sugars, refined carbs, and artificial additives. When you pour yourself a bowl of cereal, you're often starting your day with a massive sugar rush, spiking your insulin levels through the roof. Over time, these repeated morning sugar shocks erode your blood vessels' health, stiffen your arteries, and increase your risk of blood clots. Plus, some cereals are laced with hidden sodium, adding to the blood pressure problem. A shocking 2022 study from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology revealed that high intake of ultra-processed foods is associated with a 30% higher risk of stroke. For seniors who already have aging blood vessels, that's a risk you simply can't afford to take. Worse yet, most cereals don't fill you up for long, leading to overeating later in the day, another stroke risk factor due to weight gain and increased blood pressure. So while it may seem quick and easy to dump some cereal into a bowl and add milk, over time, it's setting your health up for a slow, silent crash. Now that we've uncovered the everyday breakfast bombs that could triple your stroke risk, it's time for some good news. Your brain isn't defenseless. Certain powerful foods can actually work like natural armor, protecting your blood vessels, keeping your arteries flexible, and reducing your chance of a devastating stroke even as you age. Muffins are often marketed as a wholesome, hearty breakfast. Blueberry muffins, bran muffins, They sound so innocent, even healthy. But behind that golden brown top is a storm of unhealthy ingredients. Store-bought muffins are typically made with refined white flour, heaps of sugar, and dangerous hydrogenated oils. Some commercial muffins pack more sugar than a donut. They also contain a sky-high amount of sodium, which might not seem like an obvious villain, but is crucial to understand. High sodium levels increase blood pressure, and elevated blood pressure is the single biggest risk factor for strokes, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. The combination of sugar, salt, and bad fats creates a triple threat, damaging blood vessels from multiple angles. Plus, muffins are often calorie-dense and nutrient-poor, meaning they fill you up without delivering the vitamins and minerals your body desperately needs to maintain healthy blood flow and strong arterial walls. For seniors whose bodies are already less efficient at repairing blood vessel damage, indulging in a muffin a few times a week is like adding gasoline to a slowly smoldering fire. Here it is, the breakfast drink almost every fridge in the world holds: orange juice. You probably grew up being told that orange juice was the healthiest way to start your day. But for seniors, that bright glass of sunshine can actually be a glass full of danger. Store-bought orange juice is incredibly high in fructose, which is a type of sugar that the body processes differently than glucose. When you flood your body with fructose, the liver turns much of it into fat, which can lead to a fatty liver and increased triglycerides in your bloodstream. High triglyceride levels are a strong predictor of atherosclerosis, the hardening and narrowing of the arteries, which is a key risk factor for strokes. Even 100% pure orange juice spikes your blood sugar almost as fast as a soda, because when the fiber from the fruit is removed, all you're left with is the sugary juice. According to a 2019 study in the British Medical Journal, drinking large amounts of fruit juice is linked to a higher risk of cardiovascular disease, including strokes. Seniors' bodies become less efficient at handling sugar as they age, meaning that glass of juice can do even more harm after 60 than it would have earlier in life. It's a sweet, refreshing, innocent-looking trap sitting right there in your fridge. There's nothing cozier than a stack of pancakes or waffles dripping with syrup on a lazy morning. But for seniors over 60, this breakfast favorite is a stealthy danger. Pancakes and waffles, particularly the frozen brands from the grocery store, are packed with refined carbohydrates. These are carbs that have been stripped of their fiber and nutrients, leaving behind a sugar-like substance that spikes your blood sugar almost immediately. This spike causes a surge of insulin, and over time, these repeated spikes damage the lining of your blood vessels, making them stiff and inflamed. According to a 2019 study published in the American Heart Association Journal, a diet high in refined carbs is directly linked to an increased risk of ischemic strokes, which is the type caused by blood clots blocking blood flow to the brain. When blood vessels stiffen, they're much more likely to crack or clot, setting the perfect scene for a stroke. And it's not just the carbs. Frozen pancakes and waffles often contain hidden trans fats, which are those evil oils that not only inflame your arteries, but also lower your good HDL cholesterol and raise the bad LDL kind. That combo is a recipe for disaster inside your arteries. Eating them once might not seem like a big deal, but if they're a weekly or even daily part of your breakfast routine, the risk stacks up fast, just like those tempting pancakes on your plate. They seem so convenient, don't they? You're rushing in the morning, you swing by a drive-thru, and there it is, a hot, satisfying breakfast sandwich. But these are some of the worst landmines seniors can step on when it comes to stroke risk. Fast food breakfast sandwiches are loaded with processed meats like sausage or bacon, artificial cheese products, and refined white bread or biscuits. Each of these ingredients by themselves is problematic, but together they create a stroke risk cocktail. The sodium content alone can sometimes exceed your entire recommended daily limit in one sandwich. Too much sodium pulls water into your blood vessels, raising the pressure against the vessel walls until they become stretched, weakened, and prone to rupturing. Combine that with saturated fats clogging up your arteries, and it's not hard to see why fast food breakfast sandwiches are a direct ticket to vascular disease. A 2018 study published in the Journal of Clinical Hypertension confirmed that frequent fast food consumption correlates with higher blood pressure and stroke risk, especially in individuals over 60. The problem is, even when you only grab a breakfast sandwich a couple times a week, the long-term buildup of arterial damage can be dangerous. We won't deny it. The smell of bacon alone can make your mouth water. But for older adults, bacon is one of the worst breakfast choices you can make if you care about stroke prevention. Bacon is very high in saturated fat and sodium, which is a toxic combination for your arteries. Saturated fats raise the amount of LDL cholesterol circulating in your blood. When LDL levels are high, they can start sticking to the walls of your arteries, forming thick, hard plaques that block blood flow to the brain. According to a 2021 study published in Circulation, diets high in processed meats like bacon are associated with a 43% higher risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. But it gets worse. Bacon also contains nitrates and nitrites, which are chemical preservatives that have been linked to increased inflammation in the body and oxidative stress, both of which make blood vessels more vulnerable to damage. Eating bacon occasionally isn't the end of the world, but making it a staple part of your breakfast could be setting the stage for a devastating stroke down the line. It seems so simple and harmless, a couple of slices of toast slathered with butter. But if you're over 60, this classic breakfast can quietly sabotage your vascular health. White bread is another refined carbohydrate that rapidly converts to sugar in your bloodstream. We've already talked about how those blood sugar spikes can weaken and inflame your arteries over time. But let's talk about the butter for a second. While butter from grass-fed cows can have some nutritional benefits, most commercial butters are high in saturated fats. As we covered with bacon, saturated fats drive up your LDL cholesterol, which encourages plaque buildup inside the arteries. A plaque-riddled artery is a ticking time bomb because any small piece of that plaque can break off and travel to the brain, causing a stroke. What makes white toast with butter extra dangerous is how sneaky it is. It doesn't feel like you're eating something bad. It's not deep-fried or drenched in sugar, but its effects are slow, silent, and cumulative, like a tiny leak that eventually floods a house if left unchecked. Let's dive into these incredible stroke-shielding superfoods that every senior should start adding to their breakfast right away. Walnuts are a true brain food if there ever was one. They are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, particularly alpha-linolenic acid, which has powerful anti-inflammatory effects. Inflammation is one of the major drivers behind arterial damage and clot formation, so calming that inflammation is key for stroke prevention. In addition to omega-3s, walnuts are rich in magnesium, another crucial nutrient that helps maintain healthy blood pressure and proper blood vessel function. A 2019 study published in Nutrients found that regular walnut consumption is linked to improved endothelial function. That's the fancy term for the inner lining of your blood vessels working properly. When your endothelium is healthy, blood flows smoothly, clot risk drops, and your brain gets the oxygen it needs to thrive. Just a small handful of walnuts each morning can make a real difference. Try adding them to oatmeal, blending them into a smoothie, or even chopping them into a healthy homemade granola that isn't drowning in sugar like store-bought versions. Those creamy green fruits that are more than just trendy Instagram material. Avocados are rich in monounsaturated fats, which are the good fats that actually help lower your LDL, bad cholesterol, while boosting your HDL, good cholesterol. This is critical because, as you know, high LDL and low HDL are a dangerous combination that paves the way for plaque buildup in your arteries. But avocados do even more than just balance your cholesterol. They're also packed with potassium, a mineral that helps regulate blood pressure by balancing out sodium levels in your blood. High blood pressure is the #1 cause of strokes, so getting enough potassium is like taking out an insurance policy on your arteries. A 2015 meta-analysis in the BMJ concluded that higher dietary intake of potassium was associated with a significantly lower risk of stroke, especially among older adults. You can easily mash some avocado onto a slice of whole grain toast, blend it into a smoothie, or even mix it into scrambled eggs for a creamy, stroke-fighting boost to your breakfast. At the end, stroke risk is real, and it's growing faster than many realize, especially for seniors over 60. Every 40 seconds, another American older adult faces a sudden, life-changing crisis that could have been prevented. The good news is, armed with knowledge, you can take control starting right now. It all begins with breakfast, avoiding the 9 sneaky foods we talked about and instead embracing brain-protecting powerhouses like blueberries, avocados, and walnuts. Simple changes in your morning routine could mean the difference between vibrant health and a catastrophic stroke down the road. It's not about living in fear, it's about living smart. Make these shifts, and you'll not only protect your brain, but also boost your energy, your heart health, and your overall vitality for years to come. Don't wait until a stroke forces you to make changes you should have made years ago. Start today and stack the odds in your favor, one smart breakfast at a time.